So coming to the relevance to the real life. Okay. When I talk about its value, academic value, I need to mention that we use it in essays, we use it in reports, right? And we also, you remember writing answers in your exams. Okay. So that is where the paragraph comes into form. Now coming to the relevance of real life. So it's like useful in writing an email, when you try to apply in real life or a professional communication or even in your presentations. Now coming to when we talk about another module of your course, which talks about note making and summarize. So again, let me talk the importance of this note making and summarize it. Now, please remember this session, I will be starting the first module, but before that, I am giving an overview and introduction of all the modules. Okay, so the actual module starts in a while, but before that, I am trying to give you an introduction of all the modules. Right. So now when I talk about this note making and summarizing, now, how does it help students? It helps students manage large volume of information, and it is essential for revision and exam preparation. So I'm sure you would have experienced this when you are preparing for your exam. Like you learn the entire answer, but you don't by heart it. There are certain key points, you make a note of it. That makes you remember it thoroughly well, isn't it? So coming to the academic value, when I talk about the academic value, so it improves understanding and retention. That is what I told you. You don't have to memorize it. The very, the flavor and the art of this kind of a note making and summarizing is that it retains, the retention power is increased, okay? And that it enables students to identify key ideas. Now, when I talk about the real life relevance, so which is useful in research work, preparing presentations, and study efficiently. Now, coming to the report writing. So here it trains students to present information formally and systematically. So it's important for academic and professional tasks, not just academic. Please remember, even in your career, you will most of the time come across this kind of a report writing. Now coming to its academic value. So where and all we come across this kind of a report writing. So why do we have to actually learn this? Now where it develops data interpretation and presentation skills. So when a data is given, you will learn how to interpret it. Next, your presentation skills. And it is used in project works, internships, lab reports, and so on. Now, when I talk about the real life relevance to it, so probably in your workplace documentation, this is most something which you often come across, then your business reports and the field studies. Now coming to the research writing, one of the modules talks about research writing. I'm sure you all know it. Maybe you haven't come up to that level of research thing, but over a period of time, you will surely step into this art of writing articles and research, gaining this kind of a competence in research field. Right. It introduces students to research methodology and prepares them for higher studies like your post-graduation or your doctoral studies. Now coming to the academic value. So it builds skills in data collection and analysis, academic honesty. Now in real life relevance, if you look at it, it is useful for writing research papers, publishing articles. So this is what I'm talking about, the research writing, okay? And evidence-based decision making. So sometimes, there are so many statements which we make when we decide to, or probably put across certain argument statements, then you need an evidence to it. So you will learn when you think about this, learn something like research writing skills, you will also definitely learn how to write a certain statement with evidence. Okay. Now, so when I talk about the structured writing, it tells you how to organize ideas logically, and it makes it easy to understand and evaluate. And there it brings clarity and coherence. That means it ensures that the ideas are clear and connected, avoids confusion and misunderstanding, and makes the writing more professional, effective, persuasive. Right. When I talk about the referencing, it promotes academic honesty. This is most sought after when you look into a research field, especially when you're writing a research article or doing a research thesis or something where you have this referencing, which promotes academic honesty, helps you avoid plagiarism. Okay, and it builds credibility of writing, shows respect for others' work. It teaches you. So overall, when I talk about this module, it enhances independent thinking. Okay, and it improves communication skills. Okay, and prepares students for higher education and career. Right. So now let us move on to the actual course, where we are going into the first module here. Right. So this is what? It's a SEM 6, and it's a elective called the academic writing. So the first block talks about writing short texts. That is, in first unit, we will learn about the first one called the paragraph. Okay, so I'm sure you will remember the points which I have just discussed now. And next thing is paraphrase. Second unit talks about the paraphrasing. The third one talks about the review. So these are one very important points to remember when you talk about the academic writing. So basically, when I talk about a paragraph, what is a paragraph? Do you all know anything? There's a material which is a chunk of material which is worded. We call it a paragraph. But do you think is it a real paragraph? So what exactly you call a paragraph? A paragraph is what we're going to talk about it. So it's a group of sentences that talk about one main idea. Now, all the sentences in the paragraph are connected and support that single idea, a group of related sentences that develop a single main idea. That usually begins with a topic sentence. Please remember, a paragraph usually begins with topic sentence. And it introduces the main idea. The topic sentence is something which introduces the main idea, followed by supporting sentences that explain or give details, and ends with a concluding sentence that summarizes or reinforces the idea. This paragraph that could do the following, like, it can inform people. When you read the paragraph, it can inform people, or it can describe, it can critic. I mean, it depends upon the types of paragraphs which I'm talking to you about. So it may be a kind of a critical passage or a paragraph, or it can be a persuading kind of a paragraph, or narrating a story. So for example, here I've just quoted one example to show you what a paragraph is all about. I'm sure you all know, yeah, but still, an importance of time management. So there's a paragraph on importance of time management. So look at this topic sentence. The moment you read this sentence, importance of time management, you will get an idea that this particular passage following this topic talks about the importance of time. And not just the importance of time and how you manage the time is what it talks about. So that is what the importance of the topic sentence. And most of the time in our, I think this is regarding the topic sentence, which I'm talking about. When you watch these reels in the YouTube, there are kind of a the titles of those reels. Sometimes it's a mismatch. The title says something that's called a thumbnail or what, I do not know exactly. And it says something, the video talks something, right? The video shows something. So people immediately, they criticize, they kind of comment saying that it is a mismatch. It has got nothing to do with the title. So people, in order to get viewership, attract the viewers, they kind of put up this catchy title and they mislead the audience, right? The viewers. So this is what the importance of the topic sentence. So the moment you read a topic, you will understand what the passage is all about. So it is the preceding statement. The topic is nothing but it's a preceding statement of the passage. So here, now look at this paragraph here. The time management is an essential skill for students. It helps them complete their tasks on time and reduces stress. So by planning their daily activities, students can balance studies, personal life effectively. Now, good time management also improves productivity and academic performance. So therefore, every student should develop the habit of managing time wisely. So this is an example. I just wanted to show you that how all sentences focus on one main idea, isn't it? That is nothing but time management, and that supports it clearly. So now I think you would have got an idea about a paragraph. So paragraph preceding with the title, then the paragraph with the entire paragraph having one idea where all the other sentences talking about that particular main idea. Now, coming to parts of a paragraph. So what is this parts of a paragraph? So when I talk about what are all the parts which a paragraph comprises of. So paragraph is basically made up of three main parts. Okay. So I think I just gave you an example also. The first one being the topic sentence, the second one being the supporting sentences, the third being the concluding sentences. And please remember, conclusion is also one of the key part of this paragraph because that actually concludes the entire thing. Okay. So the topic sentence is the first sentence of the paragraph. It tells the reader what the paragraph is about. That's the main idea. So when I give you a topic like this, exercise is essential for maintaining good health. The moment you read it, you get an idea, isn't it? So the main idea of that paragraph. Now coming to the supporting sentence. The topic sentence. Now they provide details to make the idea clear. Right. Now coming to when I talk about these supporting sentences, as I told you, they provide details to make the idea clear. Now, for example, we are talking about this topic sentence called exercises essential for maintaining good health. Now, look at the supporting sentence here. It helps in improving physical fitness and mental well-being. So regular exercise reduces stress and increases energy levels. So look at these sentences. They're all targeting the topic sentence. I mean, they're all, kind of leading to that main sentence, isn't it? So coming to the concluding sentence. So the concluding sentence is the last sentence of the paragraph. It summarizes the main idea or gives a final thought. Next. Now coming to the contradiction. So we are going to just talk a bit about these components still. So the introductory sentence, the supporting sentences of the body, and the concluding. And then the another important aspect is about the concluding. A bit more I want to tell you, because this is being the last part, it usually summarizes or closes the idea. It brings an end to the idea, which was being discussed in the main body. Okay. So here we have like, therefore, education plays a vital role in everyone's life. So this is like, it concludes it. Now coming to transitional elements. Now, what are transitional elements? Like we have these linking words called linkers. Now these help connect ideas. That's why they are called linkers. So the ideas are connected from, it has to be a smooth flow. So these linkers help in that kind of coherence, right? A smooth flow of the idea of the passage, okay? Paragraph. Now these help connect ideas smoothly. Like for example, however, therefore, moreover, in addition. So depending on the preceding statement, you use these linkers. Okay, they're also called linkers or the linking words or the course markers, or, they play a very important role in these transitions of the ideas. Now, next, coming to the topic sentence. Now, what is this topic sentence? I think we've just discussed about it. It is main idea of the paragraph, and it usually comes at the beginning of the paragraph, and it gives the main idea, guides the rest of the sentences. We all know about this topic sentence. Now coming to the body of a paragraph, what is this body? So it, as I already told you, it consists of the topic sentence, okay, and the main idea of the paragraph. Then it has the supporting details. Then it also has the examples and evidence. This is very, very important. See, example, you have to provide a proof or even a real life example to it. Why? To make the paragraph more clear and convincing. Only with those evidences, people try to associate it with the idea, the main idea of it. Right. When I talk about this concluding sentence, okay, and as I already told you, it's the ending sentence of a paragraph, and its main function is to summarize, restate the topic in a different way, okay, and it gives a final thought or an opinion, and it provides a smooth ending. Now, the common words which I used, as I already told you, therefore, thus, in conclusion, hence, overall, and so on. There are many more such words, common words, which I used to conclude it. So look at this. Now, for example, here, one example I've given you. The paragraph says that reading books improves knowledge and vocabulary. It helps students learn new ideas and enhances their thinking ability. It also reduces stress and improve concentration. So this is what the passage talks about. Now look at this concluding sentence here. So therefore, reading books is very beneficial for students. So putting up the whole thing in a nutshell. Now that is what the role of a conclusion. Okay. You put it into a kind of a briefing it, a summarizing it into a concluding sentence. So reading books is very beneficial for students. Next. Now, when you are concluding, please make sure these are certain things you have to remember. Okay? So do not introduce a new idea. See, what is it you are concluding? Whatever you discussed in the main idea of the body, whatever is on the topic and that title sentence, you are trying to conclude that. But please do not introduce a new idea which is deviating from the main idea. Okay? And keep it clear and simple. related to the topic sentence. So always remember the concluding statement should relate to the topic sentence. It should not be a mismatch. So, for example, there's one line summary I would like to tell you here. A concluding sentence wraps up the paragraph by restating the main idea in a clear way. So not a new idea. Please remember, it's just the main idea which has already been discussed in a clear way. So if at all I talk about a good paragraph, what all things does it consist of? How can I label that to be a good paragraph? Okay. So it is not just a group of sentences. It should have certain important qualities to make it clear and effective. Like what? First thing, unity. So remember, a good paragraph should have a unity, should have a coherence, should have a cohesion. So what is this unity in a paragraph? That all sentences should focus on one main idea. Okay, so if the topic is health, all the sentences should talk only about health. Now, when I say coherence, it means logical connection. So what is coherence? It's a logical connection and the flow should be smooth. Next, we use linking words to show this kind of a coherence, like and, but, therefore, however. So you would have learned about certain conjunctions, okay? They try to connect, isn't it? They bring in a kind of a connection, logical connection, okay? Now, if there is something like I mean, you are adding something to it. So there is one connector to it. So similarly, for a contradicting statement, there is another connector. So that way, these are the discords, these are the connectors which shows that kind of a coherence. Now coming to cohesion. What is cohesion? Words and sentences should be properly linked using connectors and pronouns. Okay. For example, using words like this, these, such to connecting ideas. Next. Now coming to the clarity part of it, of the same thing what we are discussing, the paragraph should be easy to understand and use simple and clear language. Now, avoid confusing or complex sentences. You have to always remember, do not use something which is confusing or complex. The completeness. This is again a very important aspect for a paragraph writing. The paragraph should fully explain the main idea with enough details. Include explanations and examples wherever needed. Now, order and organization. Ideas should be arranged in a proper sequence. Okay? For example, beginning, middle, end. Start with a topic sentence, add supporting details, and end with a conclusion. Now, next, there is something called one-line summary, where, a good paragraph has, I'm trying to put it all in one place, where a good paragraph has unity, coherence, cohesion, clarity, completeness, and proper organization. Now, next, we are moving into the second unit called paraphrasing. What is paraphrasing? See, we've learned about paragraph now. What is this paraphrasing? So, paraphrasing is a kind of a synonym swap. Okay? It's about digesting an idea and breathing new life into it without losing the original pulse. You are phrasing it, paraphrasing. You are a kind of a similar kind of a content with the same idea. Here, you're not going to change the idea. And when done poorly, it can lead to awkward phrasing or worse, unintentional plagiarism. So paraphrasing means rewriting someone else's idea in your own words without changing the original meaning. Okay. So for example, if I want to give you in a simple definition, what is paraphrasing? It means the same meaning, different words. So that is why I told you it's just a game of synonym swap. I mean, the same thing, the same idea, same, it means the same meaning to it, but in a different set of words, but not a different idea. Please remember. Now, for example, when I talk about this paraphrase, the original sentence is here like this: technology has greatly improved communication in modern society. So if I'm going to paraphrase it, the sentence, modern society communicates much more effectively because of advancements in technology. Now look at this. You have to understand the original sentence and then rewrite it with the same meaning and the same intensity, but in a different words. So it talks about the modern society communicates much more effectively because of advancements in technology. But this is what is all about paraphrasing. And these are certain, I would like to give you some suggestions as to how you need to remember when you are paraphrasing. First, the very important aspect is understanding. Okay? So read the sentence carefully and understand its meaning before you start paraphrasing it. If you don't really understand it, you will not be able to put it into a proper structure. So use your own words. Replace words with synonyms. Change sentence structure. Okay? And change sentence form. It could be either active to passive or passive to active or vice versa. Right. Then combine or split sentences. See, when you see uh, uh, some sentences there, you can either combine them, you can split them and add a few more words to it. But please make sure that the meaning remains the same. So keep the meaning same. Do not change the original idea. That is very, very important. Right? And avoid copying. Do not copy phrases directly. Okay? Now, when you copy the phrases directly, it doesn't make any sense, isn't it? It only says that it's like just copying the same thing. Now, what is the meaning of a paraphrasing? You are trying to write in a different way. Okay, the same paragraph or the passage with different words, isn't it? Now cover the original sentence and try writing from memory. So that is a tip. You know, there are the methods, easy methods, how to write this paraphrase. You all have to remember. So first and foremost, understand it. That is very, very important when you are paraphrasing. Use your own words, replace the words with synonyms. You know, there are plenty of synonyms. English language is flooded with synonyms. We all know that. So every word of definitely has a 10 to 15 different words to it, but with the same meaning. Okay. So change the sentence form. Either it could be active to passive or passive to active. Keep the meaning same and avoid copy. That's very, very important. Right. Now, there are certain pitfalls you all have to avoid. What are they? That is copying too much. That is, when you are paraphrasing, you should never, as I told you, you have to understand and rephrase it, use different words to it. But when you copy too much, it becomes plagiarism. Okay? So original, see, for example, in original, education is the key to success. And in the wrong paraphrase example, if you noticed it, it says education is the key to success. I mean, it is the same thing which is written here. But if I'm going to change it in terms of paraphrasing, education plays an important role in achieving success. So I've added a few more points to it, words to it, but I haven't changed the meaning of it. So that's an example for it. Now coming to, and that can, you know, when you copy the same thing, it might lead to a plagiarism, isn't it? Right. Now, moving to uh, so now coming to the meaning part of it in terms of paraphrasing. What do I mean by that changing the meaning? See, for example, here in example, you have a sentence called the exercise improves mental health. Okay. Then exercise damages mental health. Now look at this. The meaning is changed, which we're not supposed to. So these are certain pitfalls we need to avoid when we are paraphrasing. Okay. The correct form, if I want to tell you, that is what, please remember, meaning should never be changed. Now, when I'm actually, if I want to properly change it, then I can say it this way. Right. Uh, Physical activity helps enhance mental well-being. So this is what very simple statement. I can use it over here to change it, right? Now, only changing a few words. This also please avoid. For example, students should complete assignments on time. Then what am I doing here? Students must complete assignments on time. So instead of should, I'm using must, but rest are the things are same. I'm changing only few words, which is again a wrong one. Very little change, which is not correct in a paraphrasing thing. So now for the correct one, if you look at it, it is important for students to submit their work within deadlines. So the meaning hasn't changed. I've added few more words to it, not minimal, but quite good number of words I've used to change this, to paraphrase the sentence, right? Now using complex words unnecessarily. So please remember, the simpler, the better, right? Don't complicate it using unnecessarily all the complex words. So utilizes pedagogical methodologies, enhances cognitive assimilation. See, it's unnecessarily the words are very much complicated. So using good teaching methods improves understanding. It's very simple. So what is paraphrasing? Let me put you in one statement, that is expressing the same idea in your own words without changing the meaning is nothing but paraphrasing. Right. Now coming to, there are a few strategies on paraphrasing. Now paraphrasing is easier when you follow clear strategies. These help you rewrite content correctly and effectively. What are they? Using synonyms. So word replacement. What is synonyms and what is using synonyms means? The same word with a different word set, you kind of replace it with that. So word replacement. Replace words with similar meaning. So the meaning should be the same thing. The words are different, of course. So, for example, the project was very important. So if I am taking it in a paraphrased manner, the project was highly significant. So for very important, I'm taking it as highly significant. Okay. Now change sentence structure. Rearrange the sentences without changing meaning. For example, students learn better when they practice regularly. Now, when I paraphrase this, regular practice helps students learn more effectively. Now, look at this. So, I'm kind of rearranging the sentences without changing the meaning. Next, changing the voice. Okay, what does it mean? Convert active passive voice or the passive to active, whatever it is. So the teacher explained the lesson. The lesson was explained by the teacher. So that is acceptable when you are talking in terms of paraphrasing. Okay. So these are certain strategies. Please remember, one is the word replacement. Next is the change of the structure of a sentence structure, or change of voice. Right. Next, another strategy is break or combine sentences. So split long sentences or combine short sentences. Okay? Now, for example, technology is growing fast and it is changing education. When I paraphrase it, technology is growing rapidly. It is also transforming education. So what did I do here for this example? Splitting of a sentence, a long sentence with a conjunction. So the conjunction is removed and two different sentences. I've split the sentence. Now, next, I mean, that also is very convenient or a kind of a strategy when you are paraphrasing. Next, coming to change parts of speech. So maybe you can convert nouns to verbs, adjectives to nouns, and so on. Okay. Now, for example, there was a discussion about the issue. There was a discussion about the issue. So, paraphrased, they discussed the issue, is what I have changed it into a paraphrase. Right. Now, coming to use different expressions. Rewrite ideas in a new way while keeping meaning. For example, he was very tired to work. So, in paraphrased, if you look at it, he felt exhausted after finishing his work. So, understand and rewrite. So, this is kind of a tip for you all. So, one is read, understand, and then write in your own words without looking. This avoids copying and improves originality. Now, one paraphrasing strategies include using synonyms, changing structures, and changing voice, sentence form, and expressing ideas in your own way. Now, right. Next, we move on to okay. Moving on to the extensive. That is the third unit, which is going to be about book review. So before going into this book review, I also would like to give you some inputs on what exactly is book review. With this, I think we are coming over to the third unit. So what is this book review? First and foremost, let me tell you. So this is, which talks. I'm sure you all must have watched something called movie review, right? So we are dealing with the writing part of it. So this is how we are looking into a book review, isn't it? So review is nothing but reviewing something, something which is already there. So somebody who has read it would come up with a kind of a structural, I mean, a kind of a written statements about that particular book. That's called a book review. Okay. So here, most of the time we have, we have to take up a lot of extensive and intensive reading for giving out this book review. That is very important, and which also deals with extensive and intensive writing. So when you have to look into a book review, you need to read it first. So the reading is also a part of this book review, isn't it? Next. So in this unit, we're going to learn about is a review and what are the different types of reviews and what are its features, the general features of a book review. Okay. And writing your book review, its introduction, and what are the questions you need to consider as you write your book review, right? And there are a few examples of book reviews. And then, right. So this is something to do with the critical perspective. That is, when you are reviewing certain aspects of it, I mean, could be a critical perspective. And see, it's like when you write a review, it is not your personal opinion which you're going to write about. It's like, in general, what exactly does it deal with? So that is nothing but a book review. I mean, it talks about the plot, it talks about the, the narration, the tone, the genre, and it could characterization, right? And probably it can even bring in certain critical aspects to it, like what part of it was good and how could it, and which one is not so good and how could it be added to make it better and so on and so forth. So basically you have, there are certain elements again involved when you're coming up with this kind of a book review. So this is what we're going to learn in this third unit. So I think for today, I'll be winding up with this third unit. So tomorrow I'll start with third unit and we will move on to the second block tomorrow, right? So for today, I'll be concluding this class and yeah, any kind of doubts and queries, you can share it in terms of comment section. Right. Thank you so much. Okay. Let's get on to all of that. All right.